Hey everyone, TechBarn back with another video. And in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at one of Razer's specialty keyboards. And the reason I say specialty is because this keyboard has a special pair of switches. The switches that this keyboard has are mecha membrane switches, and that's pretty much just a combination of mechanical switches mixed with membrane switches to create mecha membrane switches. Today we have the Razer Ornata V2, and we're going to be taking a look to see if it's a really big difference from the V1 and what changes Razer made to make this keyboard better. Now let's start off with what you get included in the box when you purchase the V2. You obviously get the keyboard itself, you get an included wrist pad which is magnetic so you can remove it whenever you like, and you also get your classic Razer documentation, and you can never forget the Razer sticker. Now let's move on to the design of the keyboard itself. So the Razer Ornata V2 is pretty much fully made out of plastic. It's expected. I would have liked to seen a bit of aluminum, but it is still very, very sturdy. As you can see, there's pretty much almost no flex to it, which I was very impressed with. Now, if we flip the keyboard over on the other side, we find some channels where you can add the wires to make it more organized, and you have two flip-up feet, which angle at 6 degrees as well as 9 degrees. And you also have 4 rubber feet to keep the keyboard from sliding around when typing on it. Now, one thing that I will say is that the keyboard is raised a good amount, and I think that's why the key switches themselves are a bit shorter than your typical mechanical switches. Now, the keyboard cable, as you can see, is braided. As a tech YouTuber, it's something I love to see because I know it's going to be a lot more durable than just a rubber one. Now, if you look from the top of the keyboard, that's where we can see some changes that Razer has made from the V1 to the V2. And right off the bat, you can see the main one being an addition of a scroll wheel. Myself, I'll admit it, I am a sucker for scroll wheels. I absolutely love them. They're super duper fun to use, and it just makes turning your volume up and down that much more fun. And Razer's is very, very nice. It's a bit tactile, and you do have some LED indicators as to when your volume is at 0 or when it is maxed out, which is a nice touch. You can also click in to mute and to unmute your volume. Another change is the addition of your general media keys and the fact that they move the light indicators to above the arrow keys now, which is a trend that we're starting to see with more of the newer Razer keyboards. Now, when it comes to RGBs, that is one thing that I love about the Ornata because as you can see yourself, it is very, very bright and it takes up almost the entire keyboard and it fills it completely. There are a bunch of different effects that you can choose from in the Razer Synapse profile, but one thing that I found a bit interesting was that I couldn't find how to slow down these effects. And as you can see, the rainbow effect is going pretty fast, and that's one thing I would have liked to seen is the ability to slow down the effects or speed it up to your own personal liking. Now, we made sure to update our Razer Synapse just in case it was a mistake on our end. We updated it, we uninstalled it, reinstalled it as well, but we still weren't able to find it at the time of this recording. Now, moving on to one of the most important aspects of a keyboard, and that's the typing experience. I personally love mecha membrane switches. They're one of my favorite switches to this day, and that's because you still have that tactile feeling while still having pretty darn quiet switches. And that's something that I value because obviously in my household, my parents don't like it when I'm clacking away at blue switches because it makes so much noise. But with mecha membrane switches, it's a really nice balance of the tactile feeling as well as the quietness of a membrane switch. Now, to give you guys a better idea of what these switches sound like, here's a quick sound test. I love the customization of the Razer Synapse and how bright these RGBs are. Even in broad daylight, these RGBs shine as if no other. Another thing I really like is the addition of the scroll wheel. That's something that I personally am a sucker for again. I guess you could say I'm biased towards it, but I just love the addition of a scroll wheel. It's a very nice touch, small touch, but goes a long way. Now, one issue that I did have with this keyboard is pretty much only with the wrist rest. And that's because after using it for a long duration of time, I found that my hands became sweaty and it was just uncomfortable. So I just removed it and used it without it. But then again, that's just my personal opinion. Now, after finding that issue, I did find that other people as well did have that issue in the past with the wrist rest, but that's just me and them. Maybe different for you, maybe different for others. Now, overall, I would say that the Razer Ornata V2 is honestly a really good gift to pick up for anyone. For only $100, you're getting a keyboard that has that mechanical feeling while still being quiet and having somewhat of a membrane texture. You have insane RGBs, and by insane, I mean insane. The fact that they glow so much, it's super duper bright. For someone who loves RGBs, this would be a perfect pickup. And the scroll wheel. Again, it's something small, but that small thing goes a long way in my opinion. And with that being said, You guys already know the deal. Drop a like and subscribe. It honestly means the world to us and it helps our channel grow. And if you also want to see some behind the scenes content and when we upload videos before they get uploaded, check out our Instagram and Twitter. With that being said, this has been Tech Barn, and as always, stay premium.
Now we're coming to the place in the tall grass where we see that the elders have lost time and the lessons to learn from a long past have all but abandoned our small minds.